So these pictures you saw have been trending online for days now, and they are coming in straight from Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Now, what is interesting about these pictures is the fact that, they use relatable expressions at the back of their jerseys, and they were able to use these memes, to garner support for one of their teams, which is participating in the Championship of African Nations, currently being hosted in Uganda, Tanzania, and then one other Southern African country. And that is why we are here, just to, have a feel of whatever these Ugandan fans were trying to communicate to with the outside world. And it was used for a very positive purpose, which yielded, positive outcomes. So we shall descend into everything concerning these particular images that have been trending online, especially on major social media platforms. All right. So without further ado, note that the heat. So, so the Championship of African Nations is currently underway, and this is a tournament, that is organized for players based in Africa, players or African players who ply their trade in Africa, the Esperance of Tunisia, the Accra Hearts of Oak of Ghana, and the rest. These are the kind of people the tournament is organized for. Now, Uganda is also, partaking in this particular tournament, and they have a very, poor record as far as this particular tournament is concerned. In the past editions where they featured, they usually, fall off in the group stage. Now, this particular one, the Cranes of Uganda, is still in it, but the fans saw that no, this tournament is right here at our doorstep and our Cranes are participating. What can we do differently to, garner support for our local players who are fighting for the flag? So few people came up with the idea of, instead of customizing their names or their favorite players' names on their jersey or at the back of their jersey, they decided to use relatable memes, relatable expressions that will, catch people's attention. And truth is that it worked. It didn't only catch attention of spectators in those stadiums, but it went outside of the stadium to, catch the attention of the entire Africa, if not the world as a whole. And these expressions have put smiles on people's face, and because they are relatable, you get to read them and then you are excited. You get to laugh off your worries away or anything like that. And this is part of the reasons why we've taken this, is just to, dive into some of these relatable memes that have been making the trends on social media platforms. So let's get going and then see what's up with these images. So of all the images, this particular one caught my attention the most, because from where I come from, the country I live in, there are certain species. The moment you see them and then say, hey, beautiful, how are you doing? Try to strike up a conversation. If it doesn't end there, you go further to collect their phone number. Put it at the back of your mind that you owe them. And it is not as if they are coming straight at you to say, hey, you owe me this amount of money, so, pay it or bring it. No. They have devised a very, strategic and interesting way of bailing you, of taking whatever you owe them. And these include, I am out of airtime, my rent is due, I am hungry, do you know anyone that repairs blender, that repairs whatever, my gas is finished? This is the strategy these species have been using to, extort money from us. And it is quite interesting that people in Uganda, have also noticed this particular trend and have actually, created awareness to make the brotherhood stay safe and they on guard whenever they are approaching these species. I know you know what I'm trying to say, right? All right. So let's move on to the next one. Now, this one. This is also very relatable. Now, let me tell you why this particular picture is extremely relatable, especially to Ghanaians. You see the color of the jersey, it is yellow. Okay, that is one clue. Then there is something written. I don't need, whatever, quick loan. It is a very interesting, conversation. Let me put it that way. That is associated with the yellow colored entity right here in Ghana. And to tell you the truth, in fact, I want to corroborate whatever that is written behind this guy's jersey. It is actually messing a lot of people up in this country. If you take it, you do not pay it on time, and someone mistakenly or unintentionally sends money to you through that particular line you used to, borrow, you will say goodbye to that money. They are not coming to ask you whether, this is for settlement or this is for something different. No, once the money hits the account, it is gone. And I actually agree. In fact, a lot of Ghanaians will actually agree with what this particular post is saying. So let's move on to the next one, which is also quite relatable. God is great. I'm not a Man United fan. Well, I don't know where to put this one. But once he's not a Man United fan, you know the obvious. Because, well, I reserve my comment. I don't want to, speak about Manchester United, but you and I know the kind of Manchester United he is referring to. Because if it is the United of old, then he has every right to refrain from being a fan, or even if he happens to be a fan and is denouncing the team, it is understandable, because at this point, no one really wants to associate with that team because it is killing people softly. This other one, doesn't want any wahala. He doesn't want any issues with anyone. So he's only applying for, a deputy boyfriend. He wants to be the assistant, maybe the side guy, or be in the, shadows of the main one, that when the main one isn't around, then he can perform whatever duties there is to perform as a deputy. You know what I mean, right? So these ones, this one is actually not going in for the main, but rather, telling you that, hey, probably he will be the main elsewhere while he deputizes for another one at another place. And it is quite interesting. In as much as it is fun and relatable, it is also kind of sending some message to the street, to the brotherhood, to the sisterhood, that, this is how, okay, I don't want to say it, this is how the world is turning into. 0 mileage. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you are thinking. And I don't want to think what you are thinking. But our sister is saying that 0 mileage, fresh in box, straight from factory, with the manufacturer's tag, everything intact. The seal, everything is intact. Nothing do the seal. She hasn't touched water yet. Nothing. Nothing. Right. I don't know what kind of meaning you are reading into it, but don't count me in. I'm thinking differently. I don't want any case. All right, so these and many more are some of the interesting memes coming in from Uganda, fans of the Ugandan cranes, or the cranes of Uganda, and they have lighted up the internet in these past days. So the entertainment world, the showbiz industry, whatever that comes on, whatever that is trending, you are going to be the first to know. So keep it locked right here. The name remains OaksJoint, and it is still the heat. See you in my next video.